It's Nelson George with another Follow the Sound. I am over here in front of 226 St. James Place in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn, known uh, all over the world as the sort of home base of Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls, aka Notorious B.I.G. You can see folks taking pictures in front of it. I'm sure that's a regular occurrence. Um, I think I want to tell a little slightly different kind of origin story of Christopher Wallace. When he was a much smaller kid, he would kind of hang out in front of the steps here, and a guy would come by pretty regularly who was living farther down on the block with a saxophone case. Figuring he was a musician, one day, young Christopher asked him, what do you do? What do you play? And a friendship evolved. The gentleman he contacted was named Donald Harrison. He'd come up from New Orleans. He was part of that wave of incredible young jazz men from New Orleans, along with his friend Terrence Blanchard. They had a record deal together and did a couple of excellent albums on Columbia, as well as the Marsalis brothers, Winton and Branford, who lived close by. So there was a real, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. There were tons of young jazz musicians in the neighborhood. So a friendship evolved between Harrison and Christopher, and he began taking him to museums and taking him to other places. But perhaps more importantly, he lived farther down the block, and he would take him down there to play music for him. Even though he knew Biggie had aspirations of being a rapper, he wanted to get him over on the jazz side. And particularly, listening to people like Max Roach, incredible drummers, teaching him about syncopation and the ways in which you could play with rhythm. Even rhythm could be melody. And when you hear Notorious B.I.G. rhyme, he's one of my favorite artists because his syncopation and sense of rhythm is so incredible. Some of that may have been impacted by hanging out with jazzman Donald Harrison here on St. James Place in the days before he sold crack rocks and met Puff and became a rap star. Just a really beautiful story of cross-generational information being passed. Anyway, Nelson George, Follow the Sound, here in front of 226 St. James Place, Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Actually, Clinton Hill, Brooklyn. Don't get it twisted. More Follow the Sound coming.